In 1493, Christopher Columbus stumbled upon Puerto Rico, which at the time was home to a population of the Taino people. Spain quickly moved to claim the land as used for a military outpost, as well as used for a space to house the many large plantations of Spanish settlers. The island remained a Spanish colony until 1898, when it was passed to the U.S. from Spain as part of the Treaty of Paris, which ended the Spanish-American War. Despite being a U.S. territory, the island's citizens were not yet granted citizenship until 1917 as part of the Jones-Shafroth Act, which also opened up the opportunity for the island to have an elected government. Currently, Puerto Rico is a commonwealth with a representative government. However, the island has held many non-binding votes, or plebiscites, to gauge public opinion on its current status. The options on the ballot range from statehood to independence. However, none of these votes have yielded any congressional results. The best ballot option is arguably for Puerto Rico to be admitted to the U.S. as the 51st state. America prides itself on being a country of the people. So why does it let the voices of its citizens go unheard? The people of Puerto Rico all hold U.S. citizenship, but for years have been denied a voice in government. And 6 plebiscites on the island status have been held since 1967, meaning it has held 6 non-binding referendums on its relationship with the U.S. in 55 years. Although some have yielded mixed results, they have been increasingly clear in recent years. On June 11, 2017, it was shown that 97% of voters favored statehood during its 5th vote on status. Statehood opponents point to the 23% voter turnout rate as evidence to cast doubt upon these results. However, this low voter turnout can be attributed to increased immigration to the U.S., leaving fewer voters on the island. A 2018 Washington Post poll also discounts this by revealing a 48% majority in favor of statehood. Although this is less than a majority, it is significantly more than the second highest percentage of the poll, which was 26% for being an unincorporated territory. Statehood was yet again favored in the results of the 2020 general election. Despite this, statehood has not yet been granted to the island. It is unclear as to why the U.S. claims to support the will of its citizens, yet continues to ignore what an entire island of over 3 million citizens want. Becoming a state would also result in the end of Puerto Rican voices not being heard in government. Currently, Puerto Ricans cannot vote in the presidential primary election, but statehood would change this. This election determines who becomes the next president and is voted on nationwide by all, if not most, eligible citizens. It is unfair that the citizens of Puerto Rico are not given this right. The presidential election is not the only place Puerto Ricans are stripped of their political voices. Jennifer Gonzalez-Colon is the only representation the island has in Congress. She is congressional representative who cannot vote on any legislation on the House floor. She is in charge of representing a whole entire island full of people. However, she's not given the ability to vote, so the voices of her constituents remain unheard. If Puerto Rico were to become a state, it would result in the island gaining 6 electoral votes, as well as 2 senators and 4 members of the House of Representatives. All of these representatives would be voting members of Congress. So the people of the island would finally be granted a voice in how their affairs are dealt with. Now, to address what all of you are probably thinking, why do I care? I'm just some random teenager, so why do I think this is important? It's probably hard for all of you to care about this, that if you don't even know why I do. The answer? I am Puerto Rican. My parents were born and raised there, and I have grown up visiting the island. It's my second home, and I've always enjoyed learning about the island and its long history. However, I often felt that it has been underrepresented in my Common Core history classes. This has led me to research topics on my own so that I can actually learn about things that are compelling to me. The biggest point brought up when discussing Puerto Rico and its complex history is its relationship with the US. It is something that is not foreign, nor far in the past. It is a current issue, and it deserves to be talked about instead of ignored. Statehood is not the only option, is not the only solution to Puerto Rico's current crisis of political status, but it is the best one. The other options would not yield the results of the same benefits that statehood would. Independence or sovereign-free association are simply not the most advantageous for the island's residents. Although these two options are similar, they differ in the fact that sovereign-free association would result in a guaranteed continued relationship between the US and Puerto Rico. However, both options would probably end poorly due to Puerto Rico's long history of being colonized. The other option presented tends to be staying a commonwealth, the current status. A commonwealth is similar to the states, but lacks certain fundamental rights, such as no congressional representation, nor the ability to vote in the general presidential election. Statehood would solve this issue, and is also clearly what the islanders want. So, if Puerto Rico were to be added as the 51st state to the Union, the US would finally begin ending its history of imperialism, as well as give voting rights to an island, a whole entire island of disenfranchised citizens.